After warming up on some easier climbs to get really into my session, I started on this green tape climb right here that I had actually tried in a previous session. I think I only did it 2 times, and I kept getting stuck right about here, not really knowing how I could get up to the next move. I felt like I needed to get my foot up onto the next hold, but then it felt like it would be too squished, and I just wouldn't be able to do that. So on this next attempt, I took a bit of a different beta. Instead of doing a foot switch, I just sort of stepped up onto that hold. But now it was just too compressed because that didn't feel like I was even really close. And even if I did get it, I'd sort of be on the wrong side, and I don't think it would have ended well. So on this attempt, I ended up trying to figure out a way to make that move a little bit easier, and ended up back in the same position I did on that first time. But I was just squatted down a little bit lower, and it just made it so I could sort of explode upwards and catch the hold. But after that, I wasn't really sure what to do. It was a little bit fumbly, and I also smashed my right knee when I brought my leg up here. That really hurt, and so I tried to keep on going, but I was just a little bit lost. I needed to read the route a little bit better and give this another try, because right now I was just trying hard with no real chance of success. So here's a little side-by-side of my first attempt and when I was finally able to make this move, and as you can see, the positioning right before I did the move was actually very similar, except I was down a little bit lower. That allowed me to sort of stand up onto my foot and carry that momentum through and actually catch the hold, whereas earlier I just felt like I couldn't reach it because I was already standing up on that foot and it was out of reach. So taking the lessons that I'd learned there and then knowing how to get that move, and also realizing that it was easier if I was smearing my right foot on the wall and using that to have a bit better body positioning, I was actually able to make some progress on this one now, with the biggest challenge being while I was smearing to keep my feet off of the holds from the other climbs. On my next session, I'm definitely going to give this one a few more tries to try and clean it up a little bit, but I was pretty happy that I was finally able to send it. And I really wanted to try the blue holds that were right next to that climb, but I felt like doing something a little bit easier first, so I gave this climb with these white holds a climb here, and while I wasn't perfectly satisfied with how I did it, it went pretty well. And with that one done, it was time to turn my attention to a climb I'd really been looking forward to ever since they said it, but that I hadn't had a chance to try yet. And the first move on this is a dynamic move, which is something I don't have a lot of practice with, so I was a little bit nervous to try. But I was able to get my hand on it, and you can tell I didn't practice a lot, because the reason I ended up falling here was actually because I didn't have it great, and I tried repositioning my hand as I was swinging, and it turns out all that does is help rip some skin off of your fingers. With attempt number 2, I knew to let my swing stop before I tried to do anything else, and the problem I had at this point was I wasn't confident enough that I was going to get that first move done, and I hadn't read the route very well and didn't really know what to do once I got past there. Now, once I'd got that done and had both hands matched, the next hold was terrible, and on this attempt I decided to see if I could just skip it, but as I was going up I realized I wasn't going to be able to skip it, so I sort of tried to not skip it, and then I realized that doesn't work either because I changed my mind halfway through, and it didn't go great. So I took a bit of a longer break just to make sure I was fresh, and I tried to read the route a little bit better before going up there, and then feeling refreshed, having a plan of action in my head, I gave it my best shot. looking back at it now, what happened is I panicked a little bit. That second to last hold was way worse than I was expecting it to be, and I really should have just put my foot on that right hold there, but alas, I didn't do that. And being motivated in knowing I can get up to there and that there was something I could do better, I did decide to give it one more try. However, at this point I was feeling a little bit tired, and when my foot slipped here, I decided to call it a day until I saw this other climb. They had recently reset this entire section over here, and it had been really busy earlier, but it was late in the evening and the gym was almost empty, so I said, one more climb won't hurt. And I'll just let you watch to see why that was probably a bad idea. When you're feeling tired, you should probably just listen to your body. So this one's actually a top out, and while I got my hands on that last hold, I was supposed to keep on going, but when my foot slipped, I was just in absolute panic right there. And I'd like to say that next time I'm tired, I'll listen to my body, but I'll probably make that mistake again. But yeah, that's it for this video. I hope that you enjoyed it. If you did, there's another one on the screen now that you'd probably also like, and thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.